This is a really cool 4K dash cam, but is the accompanying software up to the job? Let's check it out. Dave Taylor here, and I want to talk about dash cams. Fundamentally, it's a really simple task. It's a camera you stick on your front windshield, and it simply records everything that's in front of your car while you're driving. But there's so much competition in this space that things have gotten much more nuanced, and there are much more sophisticated devices out there, like this. This is the Thinkware U3000 Pro 4K dual camera dash cam. So dual camera means you put this in your front windshield, and then there's another one that you actually put on your rear windshield or the glass of your hatch, as the case may be. And there's this monster cable that connects the two. And then the front device records footage from both cameras simultaneously, all onto this tiny little micro SD card. It comes with a 64 gig card. I will tell you that when you're working with video of this size, you absolutely need to go up to a significantly larger card so you have better storage, but this will get you started. And these work around what are known as Sony STARVIS 2 sensors. The front camera has a bigger sensor because it is a full 4K video. And in fact, let me just immediately jump in and show you some footage. We'll start out at regular speed, and then I'll speed it up a little bit because regular speed's not very exciting. The daytime footage, I think, is very good. And it does include, and I have installed on here, a circular polarizing filter, which is important because it typically has some space between the camera and the window, so there's a chance for reflections to show up. So that polarizing filter helps minimize that. There's also something called Super Night Vision 2.0, though I had it enabled, but I didn't find that it did that much. So here's some nighttime footage. I admit nighttime is hard. It's hard for a camera to capture that information while you're moving when it's in a low light situation. But still, I was getting a lot of reflections and a lot of sort of artifacting off of the windshield reflections itself. And yeah, the polarizing filter helps during the daytime, but I don't think it's helping that nighttime view very much. There is an optional LTE module you can plug in, so you have your camera set up in your car. With the LTE module, it can actually check in with your phone anytime something happens. And one of the big things they have with this is they have a lot of really smart parking modes. So here's some footage of my car while it was parked. I had the vehicle turned off. I had left the car. And here's the footage out of the rear. You can see at least the cars are going past, but as I expected, there weren't any incidents or anything. So the parking surveillance, as they call it, works with either power source. The unit I got came with a really interesting OBDI2 interface. So this would plug into the onboard diagnostics of the car, and then the other end actually is power for this unit. I immediately said to the company, I'm in loaner cars, I'm not comfortable plugging into the OBDI, so they sent me Plan B, which was the standard 12 volt, also known as cigarette lighter. Eventually, I won't be able to say that anymore. 12 volt plug, and then of course the other end powered the unit. So in both cases, it did give me parking surveillance. The OBDI actually gives you a more sophisticated version of that. But what I really like is that it actually monitors the battery as you're using it. So if you leave your car for 4 or 5 days, it won't just drain your battery to zero because it's running a parking sensor system. And I think that's really important. Also has radar parking mode, which supposedly only records footage when something's happening. I didn't find that to be the case, but I didn't experiment a lot in that area. And it includes Advanced Driving Assistance System, or ADAS, but a lot of those are overlapping with what modern cars have. And of course, so much of this comes down to the software, because recording it onto this little card, sorry, let's try that again, onto this little card, this is an adapter so you can plug it into an SD card reader, but this is a micro SD, and recording everything onto here doesn't get you very far. So I have a couple of demos here. We're going to start by looking at all of the features in the smartphone app, and that's a critical aspect of modern dash cams. So this is obviously a screen capture from my phone, so it's going to be pretty narrow. So let's do that, and then afterwards, I'll real quick show you a little bit about the app that they have for the PC and Mac, which is really showing its age, but it does give you access to the footage and, most importantly, to the GPS data that's baked into the video, but really hard to get. All right, here we are in the app, and I'm going to go ahead and connect to Dashcam. And it's pretty straightforward. I'm sitting in my car, and the Dashcam is powered up. So it should just take a couple of moments, and we should get there. There we go. That's looking very promising. Connected to a smartphone. And it confirms that we're connected. And of course, the very first thing you want to do is live view. So let's go and continue. And live view requires Wi-Fi, so we're going to have to switch Wi-Fi connections. And then it will show us the view out of the front-facing camera. And that takes a couple of seconds to resolve here. And you can see I'm in a sort of industrial area. I can rotate it, and you can see a bit of a bigger image. This makes it easier to calibrate and make sure that the camera's positioned correctly. But notice if I tap on it, I get a couple of different things here. And if I push on the grid button, it actually shows me how to align the camera. I did pretty well there. I think my hood's a little lower than that. But if I turn that off and I tap on the R, then I will see what's out the back of my vehicle. And so again, you can sort of get a sense of what's going on. I'm obviously going 0 miles an hour because, of course, I am parked to do this. And if we go back, it's going to orient back the other way. And so now we can get into things like looking at video. And the micro SD card I have in the vehicle, in the dash cam right now, is pretty small. So the parking videos tend to take over. But I do have some driving videos that I've done more recently. So let's pick this one, for example, at 2:28 p.m. And so I was sitting here at that point. So let's go back further. Let's go back to maybe 2:15. Let's try that one. Hopefully I'm driving in this one. Nope, that's a parking one. So that's interesting. So that was while the car was just sitting there while I was actually in the library. So let's see. Let's try 2:24. There we go. So that's driving. And again, I could rotate my phone. I can also tap on the I for info. Gives me a little bit of information. Look at that resolution, 3840 by 2160. Very nice. But what I also want to show you is that on the top right, I can tap on the R. And now at that exact same moment, this is what the rear-facing camera was seeing. And I can pause if I want to look a little more closely at that image. Look at those bright, crisp colors. Very nice. And if I want to download this particular video, I can just tap on the download button. And this is the rear facing, so it's slightly lower resolution. And, you know, this is fine if you're just downloading a half dozen videos. But if you want to grab an entire drive, it really is easier to just pop the micro SD card and put it into your computer. That's cool. I'm going to go back to Dashcam, and then there's the More button, but the More button doesn't tend to give you anything super interesting. That's more if you're having problems. Much more interesting is to tap on the gear icon on the top right, And now you can see it's broken into 5 categories of settings, from memory cards to camera settings. And that's all. Pretty much everything I have here are the defaults. And you can see there's a lot of options here, and they have a lot of thought they've put into with battery protection because of that whole parking monitor. And then road safety. Generally, these are disabled because modern cars have all this built in, and system settings. So again, a lot of these features, the cars that I drive already have these capabilities. And then one more thing before we're done, the 3 dots gets you a little bit more here in terms of managing devices. And that's really the whole demo. That's everything I wanted to show you in the app. This is the Thinkware Dashcam PC viewer, and it doesn't let me screen record, so we're going to do the demo this way. And as you can see, this area is showing me what's happening as I'm driving, so that's the front view. And then up here is a map that shows me where I am on a map. And so I'm going to turn left, and you'll see I'll start going down baseline. On the lower left is miles per hour, and I can switch to the rear view by switching on that. And so that's behind me, that's obviously in front of me, and it's pretty straightforward to use, but there are features that I wish this had, not the least of which is in map view. I wish that the button that says toggle full screen view actually turned on full screen so you could see on a map much more clearly what's going on. But there's no way to resize any of this. This whole interface really could do with a significant update, but be that as it may, it does show that the GPS information is encoded into the video footage, so it should actually be more widely accessible other than in this app, but there you go. That's a lot of demo, but I know there's so much to look at here because these are such complicated devices, even though fundamentally it's just a little camera. I mean, this is just a little video camera. It could almost just be a GoPro or something, except for all the complexities and all the sophisticated features that people want. So this is where we get into the challenge with this unit, is I think that it does a really nice job, particularly daytime footage at proper 4K, really, really nice. It's complicated though. Getting in the app and getting all the settings just right is complicated. And if you don't want to use the app, then you have some features and capabilities on this. So you can see here on the underneath, there are some buttons that give you control. And on the very back, there are certainly plugs that give you access to different things, but there's no screen on it, and it's not intended that you actually use this to deprogram it or to monitor any of the footage or anything. So you're really in the app, and that app works pretty well, and then you try to use the app on the PC or the Mac, and I could never get the Mac unit to work. The Mac software just was not compatible with my version of Mac OS 26.5. So it goes, I switched to a PC, and that worked, as you saw, though it did get in the way of me doing screen recording. Not sure what that's about. But it still had so many features where I wanted to click and drag and resize and move things around and have that map be full screen so I can see better where the car was going and everything. And those features just aren't enabled. So I think that they have a really nice dash cam, but I think that the software, as I think I said last time I looked at a Thinkware dash cam, but the software just needs a full update. I think they could do with some really major improvements to just simplify the whole thing. And now that we're in the era of AI, why not have an AI-based app setting system where you can just have it ask you, what kind of settings do you want? Do you want it to be this default with these features? And you say yes, and boom, it just changes everything. How nice that would be, right? But we're not there yet. We could be there. Anyway, those are the pros and the cons and the strengths and the weaknesses of this unit, which is the Thinkware U3000 Pro Dashcam. So I hope this was something of value and that it helps you decide if it's going to work for your car. We do need to talk price. Price is pretty important, actually. Before we get there, I'm going to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Click or tap on that subscribe button, hit that bell icon for notifications of my new content. As you can tell, I'm very honest in my reviews. And finally, go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you found this of value, and of course, I hope you did. All right, great. Well, this and all the pieces that I have here are the Thinkware U3000 Pro 4K 2-camera dash cam. And this configuration is $549.99 at thinkwarestore.com. You can get just the front camera. You can get various different cables. You can get, like I said, that LTE optional module that actually lets you stay connected to your car's dash cam even when you're far away, which is pretty cool actually. So lots of options here. I really hope that they're just days away from releasing some new software, especially the PC and Mac software, but who knows. Anyway, that's the camera. You're getting really nice footage out of it, and that's what I got. So I'm going to go and put it back in my car, which means I'll hope to catch you in my next video.